Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kiru's show here and now. Before we do start, let's give a brief little review. In the last part, a few things happened, and a few shocking things even happened. Now, both of the Jokers are dead. You had Joe Chilled, who was shot in the head whenever he held Tim Drake at knife point, a knife to his throat ready to slit it, directly in Crime Alleyway. And the Joker? The Joker, he did the one thing Batman never thought the Joker would finally do. Push him past the brink of his sanity. Now, Batman was there in the alleyway. He strangled the Joker. He beat him. He punched him. He made him bloody. He was thinking about what to do next. He was thinking about how to handle the Joker. Before one thing happened. The Joker, his neck went crack. And Bruce Wayne, he stood there realizing one thing. He just killed a man. And that made things very bad. However, Bruce Wayne, he walked away. The only focus on his mind right now was his emotional state and the blood on his hands. Tim Drake was taken back to a safe house. And Bruce, yeah. The scene was set at the mansion, and the story was weaved. The Joker broke into his home and shot and killed his butler. And then Bruce Wayne, he did what he had to stop the Joker. However, there was an accident, and the Joker ended up being killed by the rich boy in Gotham. And Bruce Wayne, he feels like he deserves to be locked up in prison. He's a murderer, a killer. And that says quite a bit. However, Jim Gordon and Gotham PD, they want to throw a party for Bruce Wayne. And they don't see that as that. This was murder, yes, but it is perfectly legal to defend yourself. And a home invasion from the Joker, they'd say that warrants a bullet or two to the head and some shattered kneecaps. Now, that is quite a bit. Bruce Wayne is retreating into solitude, and he's afraid of himself. And the world, they begin to hear a few things. And right now the Justice League, they want to come to Bruce Wayne's aid. However, Bruce, he is not accepting any visitors. He buried Alfred, and he reburied his parents after he found their bodies. However, that was another wild goose chase he was sent on. He had to busy himself, and he tried. However, that's just it. There actually was Deku and Barbara, and even Tim. Tim was alarmed. He wanted to be Batman one day, and he felt like Deku, him being a killer again, does say quite a bit about him. He is not the, proper son anymore. He should be able to take up the mantle, but now that he's a killer again, he can't. Yes, his life was in danger. Yes, Alfred died. But there could have been another way to do this. Go about it. Tranquilizer rounds, rubber bullets, you name it. And Tim, he went back to the Batcave, where he found Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne was getting himself drunk, getting himself put into a stupor so he could not think. Batman is no more. Batman is dead. And that is quite a bit about him. Now, with that being said, the Batcomputer, it is activating a few things in its own subroutines. And it is making sure to scan the news networks and to make sure the media, they know exactly what happened. The Batcomputer has an algorithm set up. The moment a certain amount of information is put into it, it will react to the information and act accordingly. Now, we do currently have Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne has felt the demons in his mind. Something is making its way through his psyche, and he knows it. When he killed the Joker, mist came from his mouth. Bruce Wayne is left unaware. Right now, him taking a swig of a very expensive brandy. He is left unaware as to the threat inside of his own mind, the demons tearing their way through his head. There's one that's been put in place to save him, protect him, help him, and there's another one that's been there since the Joker died. One that clearly is beginning to take a bit more form, manifesting in his psyche, tiptoeing behind his back in his brain, and making its way through the safe haven he calls his mind. Now, as that piece of the Joker chips away slowly but surely at his psyche, Bruce, he has his thoughts go to a dark place. And right now, they're actually going to do is click a button to ignore the next message sent from the Watchtower. And right now, we do actually get to the Watchtower. The Arkham Knights, they walked in. And right now, the Justice League, they were quite surprised to see that Barbara Gordon and Izuku Midoriya, they were the Arkham Knights. They arrived with Tim Drake. And fact is, many members of the Justice League, they wanted to talk to the Bat family. And there actually is Kate. Kate, she's here. She tried to do a few things. Tried to follow a mystery, but it didn't work. She was on vacation, and then something bad happened. She tried to help and intervene, but that just led her to a conspiracy. And that's very odd. However, right now, Kate is here. She wants to go see Bruce, and she doesn't leave to do so. However, she does try to talk to Deku and Barbara very quickly. And there actually is in the hallway outside of the room. As right now, Barbara, she does stand there, and so does Deku. The two without their helmets. And Kate talks about it. She wants both the two to understand. They cannot go back to Gotham like this. What they've done, Penguin and Joker, yeah. She understands, but following Bruce's example, Bruce's rules, they are what has kept all of them together and safe. Joker, she can ignore. Penguin should have gone to jail. Yes, the guy's scum. And yes, Gotham, it is corrupt. But trying to solve the problems this way, they led to more problems in the past. And that does say quite a bit, doesn't it? And Deku, he actually defended these claims. He told her flat out, so what? So what then? Is she going to try and be the good guy? Try and tell them that they did something wrong? She's killed before in the past, and they know she took pleasure in it. She loved doing what she does. She loved being the killer. Do you want to know why? Because it gave her a form of control, a way to help take back her city, putting the criminals down and keeping them down. And Kate, she was definitely a bit more annoyed to see Deku acting this way. Deku, he's acting aggressive, a bit more than usual, and she doesn't want to go to question this. She wants to know why he's so angry, asking if the cure finally wore off, or if Bruce, he just hasn't been spiking Deku's food with it anymore. He's never done that, and you know that. Sure I do. But how do you know? How do you know you're not retreating back into the depths of your insanity? Because the only sane thing to do would be to put down a killer who wants to act like he is chaos incarnate. The Joker was a man, and guess what? I saw him die like one. Now, I want you to understand. The Joker, what he's done to all of us, what he's done to me, what he's done to Barbara, I won't stand for anything like that in Gotham anymore. I want you to understand all of it. I'm going to turn and walk into the room. And right now the Justice League, they do stare at the Arkham Knight, who walked in and sat down. And right now Kate just looked looking at Barbara, talking about it. She recovered from her trauma, but she can't go along with this. This is insanity. She can't believe everything that he says. Can she? And Deku, or not Deku, Barbara, just stared directly at Kate. Her finally revealing the full story. And Kate is quite shocked. What happened to Barbara Gordon? The bad day that Jim had. Everything. All of it. The roller coaster the man was sent on. And the pain she went through. The suffering she was given, the trauma. And Kate is left speechless. And Barbara's going to tell her. If she ever went through something like that, what would she do? What would she have her do? She'll tell her. She got to watch the Joker die. And that was the best thing she's ever witnessed. And right now, that does say quite a lot. Kate can see it. Barbara is embracing her hatred, embracing her anger. And that does give her quite an idea as to where Barbara's mind state is. Barbara, she backtracked. She was able to go through the stages of grief. However, those stages, they're not just cut and dry. Not, well, you know, steps 1 through 5, they vary. There's always the steps out of order. No one ever tells you that much. There's anger, there's bargaining, and there's acceptance. There's even grief and regret. There's many more that people don't tell you about. Because that's getting more technical and trying to dive into the psyche, the human mind, a complex computer that we still don't understand. And that is still Kate everything. She knows that Barbara must be suffering. She held that silently for years. And now she doesn't have to. Now she's free in the world. A world without the Joker. She won't lie. It is a safer world. She can understand their reasoning. But the reason why she killed was for revenge. And she got it. That bastard is rotting away in a cell. And she'll never see them again. And right now, Kate, she's going to turn and leave. As Barbara and Deku, they walked in to a meeting with the original 7. Or should I say 6? No. Deku just going to look around the room. And right now he does this stare directly at Superman. And the man, he does sit there. Superman, he does sit there with Wonder Woman, The Flash, Cyborg, Shazam, and Green Arrow. And everybody, they do just want to sit here. All of them have a form of abilities, be it tech or powers. And that does say quite a bit. The only 2 real humans in the room without any of these things would be Deku and Barbara, who just have guns and knives in training. And right now the 2, they do stand in front of the Justice League. And everyone, they just have a bit of a discussion. Clark wants to know what Deku is doing. He wants to know why he's on his crusade. And why exactly the Arkham Knight, he killed the Penguin and the Joker. And Deku just wants to stare directly at Superman, asking him, is he really trying to ask him why he put down a madman who tortured him for over 3 years? Personal vendetta. Called a public service. The Joker is crazy and unpredictable. I'm sure all of you would understand if he put a drill bit through your knee. And he thought it'd be funny to make you laugh for 16 hours a day until you eventually pass out. And then he decides to beat you with a crowbar till you wake up. And you laugh for 4 more. So tell me, if you think the Joker deserved to live, you don't deserve to be heroes. Any of you. Now, right now Diana is going to stare at Deku. And Deku does a stare back at Superman, expressing, Superman doesn't believe it yet, but he knows he's invincible. He knows he can't be harmed by conventional means. And all it is a shiny green little rock that makes him poisoned. It makes him crumble and fall. But guess what? Humans don't have that luxury. Humans are squishy and frail compared to the almighty Superman. And Clark just tried to cut Deku off. He does not consider himself to be a god. And Deku does correct him. Not yet. The man has had things happen to him in the past. Reasons why Bruce has his contingency plans. Those he understands. He'll agree with Bruce. If Superman ever turned bad one day, he'd put a bullet directly between his eyes. One made of green kryptonite. And hey, maybe he'd even be fancy and pull out the blue one. The last thing he sees being the nice shiny blue rock, before it goes right through his temple. And everyone, they do stare at Deku. As there actually is where Oliver Queen, he does stand in the doorway. And Renner is going to watch this. As Deku turned his head, and Clark, he tried to ask. He wants to know why exactly they're doing all of this. What they're going to do next. Go back to Gotham? Kill criminals? What? And Deku tries to express to him. They'll take the criminals down their own way. Bruce isn't Batman anymore. He killed the actual Joker. He just shot Joe Chill, the man who gave Bruce all those parental issues. Now, there actually is Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan is a snarky, sarcastic bitch. He'll admit that. But Deku, he is talking down to the literal Man of Steel, talking about what he's doing and what things he's been through. And right now, Deku, he talks about it. He needs to understand. Clark, he hasn't been through the troubles or hardships humans have. He was raised by them, but he isn't a human. He acts like them, but he'll never truly be them. If he wanted to be human, how about he takes off his powers and sees how the world is? How it is to be made of glass in a world that's harsh and insane. One where that people like him truly exist. And Clark just stared at Deku. And there actually is Diana. Diana does try to ask questions. She wants to know exactly why they're going to the extent they are. And there actually is Barbara. Barbara, she tries to talk to Diana. And it does seem to fall flat. Diana can understand being a warrior and killing to survive. But this, killing criminals, she learned it wasn't the way. Clark and Bruce taught her that. They taught her that there is an alternate solution. But Barbara tries to express. Gotham is run by the Court of Owls. Gotham, it is corrupt to its very core. The only way to do this is quite simple. They can't take the tumor out of the body. They might have to kill the body, kill the criminals, kill the very cancer that is consuming the body, and making it the cesspool that it is. And everyone leaves stare at Deku and Barbara. And their actions are Clark, he has a stand. And the Red Hood, or the Arkham Knight, he does also stand there, without his mask on his head. And Clark stares directly at Deku. And another actor is Oliver Queen. Oliver Queen is going to step forwards. Him is trying to express. There are a ton of things wrong on both sides. But they need to understand. A lot that has happened for reasons. I mean, he'll admit the Joker. The guy is better off dead. But actual criminals, people who've done petty thefts or thieves, they don't deserve to die. They deserve to be in Arkham. And Deku goes to express. He's not talking about petty thieves. He's talking about the Court of Owls and the villains that live there. They're his targets. The regulars are all okay. All they'll get is a broken spine or broken ribs. Maybe a fractured skull or concussion or two. Hey, how about some fucking brain trauma? They're all right with Bruce doing that to people, right? Basically leaving them brain dead? So how about this? They'll handle their cities and their villains, and he'll handle Gotham and their villains. I'm gonna turn. And right now right now Superman, he moved and stood directly in front of Deku. Clarky stood there. And right now Deku, he stared at the Man of Steel. As Deku, he actually brought his hand down directly onto his belt, asking Clark, does he really think he wants to do this right now, in front of everyone? You're saying you have kryptonite. I'm saying you don't know what's in the pouch lined with lead. Now, it could either be explosives, radioactive material, or it could be thermite. So how about this? You get out of the way before you either find out I have kryptonite and I shove it up your ass, or you step out of the way and I walk free. We both do. Now, Superman, or should I say Clark Kent, what is your choice? Now, Clark was to have his eyes somewhat widen, and Deku is going to express. Oh yeah, he knows his secret identity. He knows everyone's right here. All of theirs. The Joker knew the Bat family's identities. And guess what? He knew where Bruce Wayne lived. He knew the address to Barbara Gordon's safe house. He knew the code. He knew everything about all of them. So, before he tries to talk about how the Joker isn't dangerous, he should be left alive, remember, the last person to die by the Joker's hands was Alfred Pennyworth. Remember that man's fucking name. Next time he tries to talk about the Joker still being alive and drawing breath. And Deku, he is going to actually watch Superman step aside. Him going to walk past him. Before Clark doesn't bring his hand up. At least he's going to tell Barbara. He knows that she's better than this. And Barbara stares directly at Clark. Her telling him, maybe, but guess what? She knows it needs to be done. Now she can sleep at night. And that does somewhat give Clark a bit of a shot to the heart. He knows that Barbara Gordon is a nice person. In truth, she was just trying to help people. Be better. Stop crime in her city. And now she's a killer. Now she's just like him. The Bat family. He needs to go check on Bruce. Now, Clark himself does think about leaving. However, there actually is John. John is actually going to bring his hand up. Him going to tell Clark that may not be the best idea. Bruce wants solitude. Bruce will come to them on his own. He always does. And while this problem may be one that he can't solve on his own, well, this dilemma is bad. Bruce Wayne, a friend, will call friends because he knows he would have to, especially if he does start to become, well, more deranged like this. They know it's a possibility, but it's a low one. And right now we do actually cut back to the Batcave. Kate, she walked in. However, she never walked out. All she found was Bruce Wayne. And he sat there in front of the Batcave. Well, sat there in front of the Batcomputer. All he was doing was laughing and crying. Laughing and crying. It was just that. And Kate was quite alarmed. She tried to talk to Bruce. But the moment Bruce saw her, he turned his head and actually had a smile on his face. And Kate, she was alarmed. The look on her face and the color from it drained. Because what she saw in front of her was the Joker, not Batman. And that's it quite a bit. However, the wizard tried to turn and run, her heading directly back for the staircase. As right now the Joker, or the Batman who laughs, here's a turn. Him bring up the antique gun that murdered his parents, going to aim and fire. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.